Hi, I wanted to reach out to you and just pick your brain virtually for a little bit. It's easier for me to make a video than to kind of type an email. And so as we are planning and preparing for the fall, I want to kind of understand where you might see our church, how you might see our church opening up in the fall. So a couple questions that we have are you comfortable coming inside the church for our regular Sunday morning activities? So a church service, Sunday school, a coffee hour, any of those fellowship things that we do. Understanding that our church now has a policy, as many businesses do now, that the masks are not required for those fully vaccinated and are encouraged for those who have not yet received the vaccine. So that is our new church policy. So keeping that in mind, what is your comfort level of coming inside the building? What are you hoping for Sunday school for your kids next year? Are you looking forward to music with Miss Rachel and some of those things that we traditionally did on a weekly basis and the kids singing once a month or every other month? What about joy worship? Should we continue doing joy worship? Also keeping in mind that the 9 o'clock little devotional service that we have outside right now will continue in the fall. The timing of it is still a little bit, we're undecided. We're unsure when the start of that will take place, but it will run something like the 9 o'clock small worship, or the 9 o'clock small worship for a half hour or so, an hour of Sunday school, and then finally the main traditional worship at the end. So it will look similar to how it was 8:30 chapel service, 9:15 Sunday school, 10:45 main worship, just with the beginning service being a little bit more, not contemporary, because we're not using that word, but just a little bit more devotional style, a little bit more laid back. And so thinking about how that might look. So also keep in mind that if you are a family that thinks that 9 o'clock time that we've been having on the steps is perfect, it's a perfect fit for the needs that I need right now, spiritually, worship-wise, and I don't plan to go to the main 10:45 worship time, how might that affect something like joy worship? How might that affect something like a visitor that comes to our church on a Sunday morning and sees hardly any families in that 10:45 worship service? How do we structure that so that people know that this isn't a family worship service, but that a lot of our families attend this small service that we have ahead of Sunday school class? How do we incorporate all of these pieces and make sure everybody is intergenerationally mixing and feeling like they're mingling and fellowshipping? Do we keep them, at how they are, and we can't help if they get separated? But I can incorporate, some monthly intergenerational fellowship things where people mix and see each other all the time in a fellowship way that, we could figure out how that looks. When would we have the music time with Rachel for the service? If we have this morning time, that's, a small worship devotional time, Sunday school, main worship, for lack of a better word, do we have, and Rachel's teaching the music during that Sunday school hour, and traditionally it was at 10:45 that the kids would do their performance. Do we continue that? And so we have all of that kind of kids stuff, productions in that time, or how does that look? So I want to make sure that we are hearing from everybody and keeping the the dynamic that is out there right now on the front porch of our church, keeping that its integrity, and making sure that the families and the kids that go to that understand the importance of a worship service. So, I'm thinking that we need to include our offering time. We need to include some kind of music because that's important. That's an important way to worship. But keep it very simple and very, very small and very light, but very meaningful. So just thinking about how we are moving into the fall and how this will all be structured and making sure that everybody is heard and feels comfortable including the staff that prepare all of these things, that Rachel, is feeling accomplished when she has her kids and she knows where her kids are going to be, preparing and performing these pieces that they practice. And that Eric knows where his place is. Is he playing the piano for him at the 9 o'clock service, or is he focusing on the choir for the 10:15? Is there a time for the choir to come into the 9 o'clock service and have just a small introit once a month and just, have that time of music meditation for us during that time? David, what is his role in between the two? Is he just the welcoming person at the 9 o'clock service? He's not giving the sermon or leading liturgy or any of that stuff. He's just a presence, just like we are presence. Is it led by the families? Is there a worship committee that kind of puts it all together? There's a lot to unbox here. And so I just want to make sure that everybody feels like they're being heard, that all options are open and we can be as flexible as we need to be. That 9 o'clock morning time outside has really shown me that we can be flexible. We can be, praising God happens whether it's 5 people out in the front yard just having coffee in the morning because it's only 5 of us and that's just what we needed. It can be just in the stillness of listening to each other talk and do liturgy. It can be in a grand piano piece that we hear. It can be in Eric's organ as he's playing it and practicing it. It can be in any of those forms of things. So I want to make sure that a worship service is not defined as something and that we feel like we can, kind of manage that 9 o'clock time as we need it to be. So that's a lot to unpack in this email. If you need to rewind it and take some notes, you can do that. And just email me back with your thoughts and your ideas and your concerns and whatever it is that you would like us to know. So thanks for your time.